Entry 7. The Aristocrat's Nightmare. Date, August 14th, UD 1985. Frustration and a grim determination had settled deep in my bones. The bureaucratic red tape and political games played by the upper echelons of the city's power structure were stalling my investigation. Coupled with Cortez's maddening silence and the escalating pace of disappearances, I decided it was time to take a more direct approach. If the mountain wouldn't come to Jabez, then with Galaxia in hand, Jabez would fly straight to the damn mountain. With a select squad of Las Palmas' finest, but most importantly, most trustworthy officers, I stormed the Cortez estate. Our arrival was met not with barking guards or the usual flurry of servants, but an eerie, oppressive silence that seemed to seep from the very walls of the mansion. The front door creaked open to reveal the grand dining hall, a horror that arrested our senses and halted our advance. As my eyes adjusted to the dim light, the realization dawned with a sickening lurch in my stomach. These were the missing persons whose cases had been haunting me for weeks. Here they were, gathered for one final, macabre gathering. The air was thick with the coppery scent of blood and the faint, lingering aroma of a meal never to be enjoyed. The room was meticulously set as if for a grand feast, but the guests of honor were the ghastly remains of 60 individuals, each seat occupied by a member of the Cortez family, their faces frozen in expressions of terror and despair. It was a grotesque mimicry of a family reunion, each person placed with deliberate care. Center stage, Don Hernando Cortez himself presided over the ghastly assembly. His body slumped in his chair as if he had collapsed mid-speech. The scene was so perfectly staged it could have been lifted from a play, each detail contributing to a narrative of calculated and cold-blooded vengeance. My detective instincts, momentarily dulled by the shock, kicked into high gear. I approached Cortez, observing the setup. 2 puncture wounds, 1 to each kidney, precise and clean, suggested he was alive, perhaps even conscious, as he bled out slowly. A final, more ragged stab wound punctured his liver, a cruel coup de grace that ensured his demise would be both painful and prolonged. Before him, an empty bottle of wine and a half-filled glass hinted at his last moments, offered a choice between prolonged agony and a hastened end. He chose the latter, his fine taste becoming the very poison that hastened his end. This was much more than a murder. It was an execution, a statement written in the blood of an entire lineage. The murderer, whoever they were, had not only sought to eradicate the Cortez bloodline, but to leave their mark in the most dramatic and horrifying manner possible. They also made sure Cortez knew it. With heavy heart and a mind swirling with dark thoughts, I began documenting the scene, each click of the camera capturing a piece of this macabre puzzle. As I worked, the silence of the hall bore down on us, a reminder that some secrets might be too dark to ever fully emerge into the light of truth.